a knight in white armor. Cold as a shot from a gun. If you should look for a man who loves danger, true love is a stranger. This man is the one.
To control. Target approaching. Out.
You're a rotten lookout, Miss Jones. That's the third false alarm.
Shh! It was him. I heard the lift doors open.
They are designed to close as well,
You know what I mean. There!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. We shall run out of candles at this rate. I'm so sorry, Sir Nigel. We were rather expecting Mr. Adamant.
Rather expecting him myself, as a matter of fact. Chess night, you know.
Chess?
Ah, yes, sir, your monthly duel. I'm afraid Mr. Adamant is rather late.
It's on his birthday.
Not engaged on some investigation?
Not that I know of, sir, no.
Ah, in that case, I'll wait.
A glass of cherry.
Whiskey, thank you, undiluted.
It's a very important occasion, you know, Mr. Adamant's birthday.
Getting on a bit with that sort of thing, isn't he? Can't say I bother myself.
Oh, you will when you get to his age.
What? Don't quite follow, my dear. 100?
Today.
The Somerset House acknowledged it this morning, sir.
And the palace.
Good Lord. I didn't even send a card.
You'll be tickled pink when he gets this one. The Queen is much interested to hear that you're celebrating your 100th birthday and sends you warm congratulations and good wishes.
How very nice.
Mr. Adamant! It was supposed to be a surprise.
My dear Miss Jones, my own birthday has failed to surprise me since the age of 2. Sir Nigel, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I had an appointment with my doctor.
Oh, not sick, I hope.
Oh, no. We fence every week at the gymnasium. What on earth's this fence?
Your cake, sir.
My cake?
It was Miss Jones's idea, but happily I managed to persuade her not to bake it herself.
How thoughtful of you. Of both of you, of course.
Now you have to blow out the candles and make a wish.
A wish?
And should you happen to be looking at Miss Jones at the time, sir?
Sims, you're being horrible tonight. Happy birthday. You're the nicest 100-year-old I know.
All the best, sir.
Congratulations, old chap.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Sims, I think this calls for a bottle of the Widow, don't you?
I took the liberty, sir, of putting one on ice.
Well, get it out, man. Get it out.
I'll get the glass.
And now, Sir Nigel, to the chessboard, eh?
Splendid, splendid. You've read the evening paper?
Yes, I have. I was rather worried by that robbery of the bullion vehicle.
Worried? It's driving me up the wall. Hmm? Yes, I can tell you the whole secretary is getting a bit hot under the collar. Still mustn't talk sharp, eh? First rule of the game.
Your call, I believe.
That one.
Here we are, then.
So I see.
Sir?
Thank you, Sims.
Sir?
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A toast, sir. To a swordsman who's fearless, bold and ubiquitous, our Mr. Adamant, long may he stick with us.
Jolly good, Sims. Jolly good.
Unit 4, in area now.
Unit 3, on time.
Unit 5, approaching building and on schedule.
Unit 1, in area now. Unit 1, in position. Unit 4, in position.
That's mate in 4, I think.
What? But how the devil do you... Oh, last. Afraid I'm easy meat tonight, Adamant.
Your mind doesn't appear to be on the game, Sir Nigel.
No, perhaps you're right. Oh, well.
Has today's robbery anything to do with it?
Yes, I think so. You know, the trouble with us civil servants is that we're not supposed to detect crime, just object to excessive amounts of it.
And there has been an increase.
Quantity, no, but in quality there most certainly has. Today's hold-up was a perfect example.
You throw a 6, Miss Jones.
The Yard haven't the slightest idea who's responsible, not an inkling.
Well, that's hardly surprising. 78% of crimes go unsolved.
Yes, and it looks like being a damn sight more. Do you realize, Adamant, that in the past 2 weeks, over 90% of the crimes committed in the West End revealed no clues, no witnesses, not even fingerprints. They involve things like gas, knockout drops, smoke bombs, grenades, and high-powered cutting torches.
Well, that's unusual.
Baffling. They seem to move in and out like clockwork. Not a trace left.
Unit 3, on schedule, moving out in 30 seconds.
There's a distinct pattern to all this, you know. I don't mind admitting it scares the living daylights out of me.
Mr. Adamant's residence? Ah, yes. One moment, please. For you, Sir Nigel.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Yes? What? But that's impossible. How many? All right, you better get hold of the Yard Chief. Yes, I'll come immediately. Sorry, Adam, afraid I'll have to get back to Whitehall at once.
Yes, of course. Sims, another robbery?
One like this morning would have been bad enough. But oh no. They have to pull 6.
6?
Only a few minutes ago, no less than 6 crimes were committed simultaneously in the city. This is war, Adamant. Outright war. But, of course, I can't possibly allow you to involve yourself in this.
And I can't possibly allow myself to sit idly by. Good night, Sir Nigel.
Good night. I know it'll be far from good for me.
Right then. Where do we start?
I start, Miss Jones, by sending you to the comfort of your home.
But, Mr. Adamant, you're going to need help now
Jones.
between the 3 of you.
Good night.
Your scooter awaits in the garage, Miss Jones.
Sonk.
Oh, Miss Jones, thank you for my birthday.
Don't mention it.
This seems rather a tricky one, sir. Where on earth does one look for someone's private army?
On the battlefield, Sims. Where else? Good morning. I gather there's been an accident.
Everything's gone. The diamond solitaire, the emerald pendant, the ruby and sapphire cluster, all gone. Some of those pieces have been here since I was a boy, sir.
Really, I'm terribly sorry.
I've dusted this tray for nearly 30 years.
But you were insured.
Oh, it's the sentimental value you never recover, sir. We shall have to fill the place with all this modern stuff. It just won't be the same.
Yes. Yes, I was hoping that you could make a piece of jewelry for me. I have the stones, of course, and also the design.
Yes, well, I suppose so, sir. It'll be some weeks before we're sorted out, though.
Well, perhaps I could leave the stones here, providing, of course, that they are safe.
Oh, well, they're not likely to come back now, are they? I told Mr. Jade that we needed those new alarms. Told him a dozen times I did.
What new alarms?
Well, the ones we needed. We'd been told that our alarms were out of date.
I see. I see. Who told you? Was it someone here, someone in your employ?
Oh, no, an expert. One of these security firms. They wanted to install a modern system with electronic eyes and everything.
And how did they know that you needed these new alarms?
Well, it's their job to know, isn't it, sir? They sent down a real expert to look at everything, and he told Mr. Jade that it was too old. But he didn't listen. Of course, he never does.
Perhaps I ought to take my stones to a more security-minded firm.
Oh, we shall have a modern system now, sir. Now that the horse has gone, so to speak.
Would you mind terribly if I spoke to the security service? You see, these stones are very valuable. Perhaps his reassurance.
Oh, yes, of course, sir. I shouldn't mind in the least. Surveillance Services is the name of the firm, sir. You see them a lot around London.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
S-cars 1-8 and 1-9 will operate on random patrol, covering the West End and financial districts. Your radios will be tuned to Channel D, and I expect immediate alert at any sign of trouble in your areas. The remainder of the S-cars will patrol the regularly assigned areas, keeping Channel D open at all times. Final briefing will be at 1800 hours. Dismiss.
Most impressive, Mr. Lang. I'd no idea.
Of course you hadn't. Security is our business, Mr. Adamant. There's no point in trotting around like glorified traffic wardens.
Indeed not. No.
Every man on our strength is a highly trained, highly disciplined fighting machine.
Well, a private army?
In a private war. These are vicious days, Adamant. Commercial interests subjected to espionage, intimidation, extortion, assault, robbery. We'll fight. If necessary, kill.
But surely if you're not allowed to carry arms.
We don't need arms, just hands. Hands. Come, my friend. I will show you.
No, please. You watch. The breathing. It is very important. You see? The breathing is most important.
Well, not, it seems, for the dummy. If you see what I mean.
If it was a man, he would be dead.
Unless, of course, he had the foresight to move out of the way.
Miklo, this is Adam Adamant. At the moment a guest, but perhaps soon a colleague.
Have you done the karate?
No. No, I've never had the inclination. I've always found that the art of fisticuffs has served me quite well.
Fisticuff?
Yeah.
Boxing man, fists. I should be careful with Miklo if I were you. He's really quite deadly. Trains all our men.
Now you try.
You know, I think not. I find it highly unlikely that I shall ever be attacked by a piece of board. Don't you?
In here, Mr. Adamant, is our proudest possession. The crime computer.
Remarkable.
Not only can we analyze security systems, we can predict the probability of an actual crime.
To what end?
Prevention, of course. But allow me to introduce Miss Sandra Verrill, in charge of the computer. Miss Verrill, this is Mr. Adamant.
Your servant, madam.
How do you do?
Mr. Adamant is studying modern security methods. Perhaps he would like a demonstration?
Well, I should be delighted.
Delighted. I shall be in the operations room then.
Well, this is one of the more advanced self-programming computers. Apart from the basic information stored in its memory tapes, it is constantly collecting new information on crimes and security. Even our conversation is being monitored, assessed, and then filed for future reference.
Well, I'm afraid I find it all quite baffling.
Sir, the Adamant situation is confusing some of the men.
Confuse? Why should my orders confuse?
The security precaution, sir. You said yourself no one was to be allowed to
Are
go
you
in.
questioning my judgment?
Oh, no, sir. But he has a certain reputation and...
A reputation for being old-fashioned, out of touch, insufficiently and stupidly courageous. None of these qualities concerns or confuses me. You will instruct the men to give Adamant every freedom. He says he is interested in modern methods. Well, let him look. Let him see that my organization is the ultimate in efficiency.
Sir.
Like a child. Let him play.
Sir!
Well, it's really quite simple. At any time of the day or night, the computer can predict the probability of a crime involving one of our clients.
You know, I find it rather sad that a mere machine can foresee our destiny. Tell me this, Miss Verrill. Are we all so predictable?
I should think the computer would find it difficult to predict your actions, Mr. Adamant.
I sincerely hope so, ma'am.
Unless, of course, we had more information. On your motive for being here, for instance. It seems unlikely that it is purely academic.
Certainly not. Now that I've seen some of your operation, I think I can say in confidence that I'm here to inspect your organization.
By whom were you asked?
A group of bankers have decided to supplement their security organization with a service such as yours. The question is, of course, are you the best?
We think so. However, if someone like yourself were to join us, give us the benefit of your experience, your knowledge of criminals.
I don't think I could compete with your electronic guardian.
Then don't compete, Mr. Adamant. Unite.
It's an interesting proposition. Would I be able to make use of your computer?
In any way you wish. Correct, Miss Verrill?
Certainly. But you've hardly set it a challenge so far, Mr. Adamant.
True, true. Perhaps I should be a little more specific.
Anything at all.
Subject, robbery, time, night, place, London, item, jewelry, firm, Jade, Parker, and with it. I think your computer might. See, that firm was the subject of a robbery only last night. Remarkable. A complete list of the firm's security arrangements.
Well, why not? All our clients file full details with us.
So Jade, Parker, and Withy are your clients?
That would appear to be obvious, Mr. Adamant. Miss Verrill, I'm sure that our guest would wish to see how the information is received.
Of course. This way, Mr. Adamant.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Request analysis and recommendations. Subject, Adamant.
Are you sure he didn't say where he was going?
Cross my heart and hope you'll die.
If I thought you meant that, I would leave at once. But of course you don't.
Mr. Adamant's residence?
Sims, will you listen carefully? I've very little time. I want you to go out this afternoon and buy a fur coat.
A fur coat?
Preferably without the assistance of Miss Jones.
I shall inform her as to your wishes, sir.
Now, Sims, I want you to buy it from the furriers that was the subject of the robbery last night. And while you're there, I want you to make some inquiries. I want you to find out whether they have had any dealings with a security service known as Surveillance Services Limited. Is that clear?
No, moderately, sir.
All right, Sims. I shall be wearing my dark blue herringbone.
But he hasn't got a dark blue herringbone.
Then obviously somebody must have interrupted him.
Well, he must be at that.
Surveillance services.
You weren't supposed to be listening.
Oh, I can't help it if I've got sharp ears.
And a very long nose. Hobbit.
Sims, that's not the way to talk to someone, knowing.
I have absolutely no intention of taking you to the furriers.
All right. But you're going to look a bit silly buying a fur coat for yourself. Now, if I was with you, you could say I was your daughter.
Oh, what a horrifying thought.
Car 11 to control. Have delivered salary payments to Dick B Engineering. I'm now proceeding to Mountain Supermarkets for collection duty. Out.
Control to car 29. Your bag delivery completed. No further instructions. Return to base. Out.
Well, then, Adamant, what do you make of us?
Well, I think it's a most efficient operation. It seems to me just as well that you are on the side of law and order.
There are quite a few inside Her Majesty's prisons that wouldn't agree with you, Mr. Adamant. Wouldn't agree at all.
Perhaps because for your organization, crime does pay.
I suppose you could say that. Now for my proposition. Join us on your own terms. Advisory capacity, if you wish, well?
I think so. I think it might prove most informative.
There's one formality. You would have to take certain tests before being completely acceptable.
Tests? What sort of tests?
Physical fitness, your ability to defend yourself, moral fiber, the ability to back up words with actions.
I'm at your service.
Splendid. We have a gymnasium at the rear of the premises. One of my men will show you the way.
You won't be there?
No. Miklo prefers to handle these matters personally.
Ah, yes. Yes, Miklo, your karate expert.
The test is quite voluntary. We even have a release which we ask you to sign.
Then perhaps I'd better sign it, Mr. Lang.
And would the gentleman wish to see something in me?
Silver fox will do.
Oh, I've always wanted a mink stole.
Oh, yes. Oh, it does suit the young lady.
My daughter's more suited to fox.
Oh, yes, your daughter.
Isn't it super, Daddy?
Put it back, daughter, or stand by for slaughter. Put it back, my dear. Fox.
Yes, of course. Unfortunately, most of our stock went in the robbery last night. But we are hoping to have a range of black and silver fox in by tomorrow.
Oh, you were robbed, were you? I thought these places were full of alarms and things.
Yes, well, so did we, sir.
I must introduce you to a friend of mine. He runs one of these security firms, well up on alarms, on photoelectric whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yes, Surveillance Services it's called, perhaps you know it.
Surveillance Services? Yes, I believe I do. Black uniforms.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, of course, they were here last month. Offered us various types of security, but all rather pricey, I'm afraid.
Pity you couldn't afford it, wasn't it?
Well, I'll just see if we have anything similar to the Fox range. A medium-priced, of course.
Well done, Sims. Looks as if Mr. Adamant's on the right track, doesn't it?
And I shall be lumber with the first toe.
Or even a fur coat. How do I look, Daddy?
Oh, yes, madam, that is so you.
Come in, Mr. Adamant. Come in. We're all ready for your little test. 3 of our more advanced students.
So I see. And the test?
Survival. That is all. Survival.
And now, if that is all...
No, that is not all. That was just a little game.
And now?
And now, Mr. Adamant, you're going to die.
Long night, Jason.
No longer than usual, Miss Farrell.
Most of the cars seem to be in.
Just about. Have we any profound thoughts from the computer?
Fast asleep. Has Mr. Adamant left, by the way?
I really haven't the faintest idea.
I was just about to leave, as a matter of fact. You seem surprised, Mr. Lang.
Of course not.
My dear Miss Verrill, you seem about to leave yourself.
8 hours is long enough with the computer.
I'm delighted to hear you say that. I wonder if I may offer you a lift. There are still many questions I'd like to ask you about your electronic wizard.
Thank you, I'd be delighted. Good night.
Oh, Mr. Lang. That signed release from Miklo, I think you may need it.
Rid of him.
There'll be all sorts of questions.
Get rid of him!
You wanted to ask about my computer.
Yes. Yes, tell me, what is its power source?
The usual electricity.
But don't you need an isolated power source to prevent the fluctuations in current?
Oh, not really. There are built-in stabilizers to take care of
Ah,
it.
yes, I see stabilizers. And tell me this, did I not see some rather heavy cables that were going from the machine through the wall of your office?
Probably to the electricity main. There's also a special safety circuit.
I see. Could it possibly be operated from elsewhere?
Impossible. But I'd be bound to know. All the controls for it are in my office.
I see. Thank you. You've been most helpful.
I don't see how.
Perhaps that's just as well, my dear. Now, would it be very predictable if I asked you to dine?
Not predictable, but most acceptable.
Excellent. Waiter, my reckoning.
Don't move an inch.
Oh, then this isn't the YHA. Where am I then?
Trouble. That's where you are. Right in the middle of trouble. Miss Jones?
Sir Nigel D, sir. Morning, Adam. Sorry to barge in like this on my way to the office.
Morning, Sir Nigel. You'll take a cup of coffee or a glass of champagne?
Oh, thank you. I won't say no. Ah, kidneys and bacon, eh? Can't beat the old-fashioned breakfast.
Well, why don't you join me?
Oh, thank you. Wish I could, but duty calls. Fact is, I'm due at a rather tricky meeting with the minister in about an hour. Over this blasted crime wave. Well, we haven't a clue, and he's bound to ask about leads and suspects. Thank you. The problem is we've nothing at all to give him. I suppose you haven't turned anything up, eh?
Well, as a matter of fact, I have, yes.
You have?
Yes, I think I found their headquarters.
My dear fellow, how splendid. Why didn't you say that?
But
so be delighted.
Only think. I have no proof.
Oh, but surely a word in confidence, eh?
No. To move now would be utterly disastrous.
Yes, perhaps you're right.
Sims, I'm rather puzzled by this account.
Which account would that be, sir?
It's for a fur coat. For a beaver lamb, and it's charged to me.
Oh, yes, sir. That was for Miss Jones.
My dear Sims, I'm not in the habit of buying fur coats for young...
Yesterday, sir, you told me to go to the farriers.
I did too.
Yes.
To Miss Jones?
Yes, sir. She chose the beaver lamb, sir, instead of the mink.
It's merely a matter of business. Sir Nigel, just a matter of business.
Oh, yes, of course, my dear fellow. A most attractive young girl.
That'll be all.
Yes, Sims, that will be all. Thank you very much.
Well, I must be off. You'll call me when you have anything, eh?
Without a moment's delay.
Appreciate it, Adamant. Oh, by the way, my regards to Miss Jones.
Adam, I was beginning to think you weren't coming.
I was unavoidably delayed, madam.
Is there anything wrong?
This is very little time. But I'm afraid I must ask you to leave here immediately.
What? But I couldn't do that. All the routes and schedules have to be constantly analyzed by the computer.
Did it never occur to you, madam, that a machine that can predict crime can also plan crime?
That's ridiculous.
No, I'm afraid it isn't. Am I right in assuming that the machine was Mr. Lang's idea?
I suppose so. Naturally, I wasn't here then, but I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm afraid, ma'am, this machine is being used to plan a war of crime.
No, you're wrong, Adam.
And the very fact that you are working with it places you in the gravest danger, madam.
Look, I know you mean well, but what you're saying is impossible. Unless you suspect me of being the evil genius.
Of course not, of course not.
Well.
Did you not tell me yesterday that this machine could possibly be operated from elsewhere?
I also said it was most unlikely.
Yes, but it is possible. That's emergency switch. Now, what emergencies could you possibly have?
Well, it might be necessary to disconnect the circuit, switch off the main power.
But you have ordinary switches for that.
No, don't touch it. Look, I'm not allowed to touch it. You'll get me the sack.
I will take full responsibility, I assure you.
Still fighting the wrong battles, Adamant.
So it is your villainy behind all this?
I don't want to shoot you, Adam, dear. But if you damage the computer, I will kill you.
Oh, Miss Farrell.
I tried to stop you.
Oh, my poor child. Are there no limits to your machinations?
Evil sets its own boundaries, Adamant. A fact which you will soon appreciate.
You know, I suggest that you put that pistol down, madam.
Do as he says, my dear.
What trickery is this?
No trick. At long last, Adamant, I have the means to bring you into my select gathering.
You delude yourself, sir.
Not when I have Miss Jones.
Lie! I can assure you he does not. Your charming little friend made the mistake of breaking in here last night.
Unfortunately, we are unable to show our gratitude unless you agree to my terms.
Oh, you fiend.
Join us, Adam. With your strength, we'll be indestructible.
What terms?
Tonight, you will carry out our most ambitious robbery. If you fail, Miss Jones will die.
You can't keep me locked up like this. You wait till Mr. Adamant...
Try again, dear. Adamant's been here all day.
You can bring him in now. Sit down, Adamant.
You know, if I may say so, this is all quite unnecessary.
Of course, but I never discourage efficiency. Sit down. You wanted to know all about this, Adamant? Well, so you shall. Surveillance Services have just completed another successful day. Now it begins the more lucrative side of its operations. You have the computer's recommendations, Miss Farrell.
Yes.
Excellent. With these, Adamant, we can never fail. Every crime planned to the last detail. Every step analyzed by computer. Its probability of success projected to impossible odds.
You're not the only one with a computer, you know.
The police, undermanned, under-equipped, trying to assess an entire city. All we have to do is compute their weaknesses, and they are many.
And yours?
None.
Surveillance Services. Mr. Adamant? Who is that speaking, please? So Mr. William Sims says it's urgent.
Mr. Adamant has left.
Mr. Sims? Mr. Adamant has just left. No, I'm sorry, he... Hold on a moment, please. He says that Mr. Adamant couldn't have left.
Who is this man, Sims?
My valet. He knows I haven't left because I haven't telephoned him about dinner. He does know my habits very well.
Excuse me. Mr. Sims, we are seeing if we can locate Mr. Adamant for you. Being a new member of our organization, he does not yet have his own office. That is correct, Mr. Sims. Mr. Adamant joined us today. Ah, here he comes. Answer it. But if there is one wrong word, I promise you, both you and Miss Jones will die.
Hello, Sims.
Sir, I'm sorry to bother you just now.
I'm afraid, Sims, I shan't be home for dinner.
No, sir, I wasn't calling about that. It's Miss Jones.
I'm sure the pheasant will be delicious, Sims, but you'll have to eat it yourself. I'm awfully sorry, but he does get a little temperamental.
Then you probably know, sir, Miss Jones has disappeared.
Completely, Sims, so I'm afraid you'll have to deliver that little gift yourself.
Gift, sir? What gift?
Oh, come along, Sims. You remember you bought it yourself.
Ah, the first toll.
Yes, that's right. Would you make sure to deliver it by midnight?
But, sir, I don't know where Miss Jones is.
Oh, come along, Sims. It's not very difficult. You have the telephone number.
I know the telephone number. Surveillance services. Surveillance services?
Switch to Channel D. This is SS Control. Calling all cars. Calling all cars. This is SS Control. Cars 1, 2, 4, and 6. Prepare for diversionary tactics. Car number 1. You will be responsible for the fire in Upper Grafton Street. Car number 2. Activate alarms at all banks and areas G4, C2. Cars 4 and 6 proceed to areas J9, B5. Carry out robberies as planned. 0R 2200. Over and out. Good man.
Police activity in J9, B5. All bank alarms activated.
You know you'll pay dearly for this.
After tonight, we can afford to. And now to the real target of tonight's little exercise. Pay attention, Adamant. A great deal depends on our success. Or do you refuse?
No. Where is it?
I think we shall have to call you Sir Lancelot, huh? Where is it? Covent Garden. House of Van Meer. One of the biggest jewel merchants in the world.
£5 million, Adam. That's how much it's worth.
Turn round, you swine. Oh.
Adam, is that you?
William E. Sims at your service, you horrible little wretch.
All right, Adamant. It's all yours now. Down to the basement. Smile, please. Thank you. No chances, Adamant. To the fourth door. Now start dialing E4, F8, C4, G9, J6, E2. Now move away. Get back, you idiot! There's a 60-second delay. Touch it before and every blue helmet in London will know. The best thing we can do is to get out of here.
If Mr. Adamant's helping with the robbery, he'll be in terrible trouble.
Well, if you hadn't walked in like little Red Riding Hood.
We've got to warn him, Sims.
How, may I ask?
And if that woman's the only one in there, we knock her out and use the radio.
Such blood-curdling simplicity.
Well, you knocked out my guard.
I have an aversion to striking women, present company excepted.
Well, I haven't. Come on, Sims. Where is she?
Over here, Miss Jones.
Why did I listen to you?
All right, Adamant. The privilege is all yours. You may open the vault door.
We've done it. We've really done it. Not yet.
You don't really expect to hear from them, do you? Shut up. She's scared stiff, isn't she?
Shut up, Miss Jones.
Through there. Go on.
Stand against that wall. Face to it. Go on, or I'll use this.
Why has there been no report?
There's been no word.
I'm afraid, my dear, Adamant may have acted against us.
We can't be sure.
I am sure. Kill the girl.
But they may just have been delayed.
I said kill the girl.
I can't.
Of course you can't, Miss Farrell.
You. But the others.
I'm afraid they've been delayed until morning. That is the next time they open the vault.
Adamant. Next time, there will be no quarter.
Where are you?
Where you can never reach me.
Will you never have the courage to meet me face to face?
When next we meet, it will be on my terms, in my time, and on my ground. And there will be no escape.
So much for your perfect crime machine, Miss Farrell. I fear you'll have many years in which to contemplate its imperfections. Sims, would you take her to the car? While I solve our other great problem.
What problem, Mr.
The
Adamant?
mysterious problem of them all, Miss Jones. Subject for analysis, Miss Georgina Jones. Characteristics: undisciplined, careless, persistent, subversive.
Subversive?
Solution, please. Kindly carry out the machine's instructions, Miss Jones.
Miss Jones should be eliminated immediately. Drop dead.
That I arrived too late, instrument of fate? Is that all you are in one simple breath? You may think he's a charmer, but death is the life he has known. If you want love and your years filled with laughter and content Leave this man alone. Leave this man alone.